If you're new here, I'm Jeff and this channel is all about growth. Could be plants, but sometimes it's personal growth too. Now, I recently hit 55. I know, I don't look it. I've had one chronic disease for over 2 decades and I've had 3 major abdominal surgeries, the last one just over a year ago. Despite these setbacks, I'm more motivated and determined than ever to make the most of life and get as fit as possible and hopefully slow the inevitable decline. Now for me, that means staying as physically fit as possible for things like travel and hobbies and so on. And of course to delay the inevitable onset of even more chronic diseases and just to enjoy life to the fullest. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? So in this video, I want to share my exact starting point and how I went about things post-surgery and built up over the year to where I'm at now. Now, let me be clear, I'm no fitness influencer, I'm not trying to be one, I'm just an ordinary middle-aged guy on a journey of self-improvement, and I hope that my experiences resonate with some people out there. So let's get started. And welcome to Jeff's Gym. Well, okay, it's not real. Mine's way too grubby to be shown on here, but I might give you a little look at it later on. I think this is something to aim for anyway, isn't it? So, just over a year ago, I had bowel surgery. I actually had a bowel blockage. Not my first. They're every bit as gruesome and painful as they sound. Now, apart from the immediate danger to life, because they are very dangerous, a bowel blockage and the following surgery leaves you in a state of total bodily depletion and the inability to eat a single thing for a few weeks. Now, as you'd expect, your body actually eats itself. So first of all, your muscles waste away and then it starts on the fat. The fat I'm not that too bothered about, but of course the muscles is really important because you need them to move. Now in my particular case, they didn't feed me intravenously. I don't think they do that for a while yet. It was after about a week that I started getting really depleted, but then I came out of hospital and they put you on some drinks that build you up again. But of course you still can't eat. Now apparently the bowel wall swells up following surgery and it really needs to be really thin in order to let things pass through it. So the more swollen it is, the less things can pass through it. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. Now, I've also been a rheumatoid arthritis sufferer for over 20 years. And for those who don't know, this is an autoimmune disease where your body attacks itself. Now, fortunately for me, I'm on a really good medication. It will never cure it, but it does reduce the inflammation. And it's the inflammation that actually causes the pain in the joints. So reduce the inflammation, you don't get the pain. Now, in some cases, some people who are a lot more severe than me actually can't stop that inflammation and that causes joint damage, which then causes the pain. I'm very fortunate, I'm not at that stage yet. So that's where I was a year ago. Not a great place. So where am I up to now? Well, I might not be quite ready to enter an Ironman competition yet, but I can tell you that I've no pain whatsoever. I'm strong enough to be progressively lifting weights and my stamina is actually better than it's been for years. So let's take a look at how I got there and of course how I'm continuing to improve, and maybe you'll pick up a few little things along the way. So in the first couple of months following surgery, for me, it was all about trying to move from liquids to solids. So I know that doesn't really apply to people out there, but I think whatever surgery you have, don't expect to be jumping into the gym straight away. I was once told by a surgeon that the bowel wall actually takes up to a year to become paper thin again, which means that, because it's essentially a tube, isn't it? Which means that anything that could pass through it had a bigger gap to pass through. So that's why it took me so long to actually begin to re-nourish myself. So for me, the only exercise was really doing some stretching, trying to hobble around the house, trying to increase the walking. I did a few things going up and down stairs, trying to do more steps, just body weight movements, and believe me, that was enough. My stomach muscles had been sliced through for the 3rd time. I remember I had 3 surgeries over the last few years, and it actually had the effect of giving me a bad back, because if you don't have your stomach muscles there to properly contract, then your back takes a lot of the pressure, and you know that gives me another problem. So I had no core strength at all. The danger for me in those early days was doing too much, because I've been used to exercising all my life and I didn't want to overdo it. So I tried to go slowly. My body was so depleted following the surgery, I couldn't re-nourish it properly as I would have liked. So it was just a case of going slowly and trying to rebuild my ability to eat things properly in order to replenish it before I could start what I would consider proper exercise. But of course, that's the key. anything is proper exercise. You've just got to do it at your own pace. Recovery isn't a nice, smooth, linear path, unfortunately. It's very much 2 steps forward, 1 back. Sometimes it's 3 backwards. That's the way it goes. So moving on, once I'd reached a point of having a couple of months of recovery under my belt and I was able to do a little bit more, I was able to eat a little bit more properly, then I started what I would consider to be proper exercise. But like I said, anything is proper exercise, it's just at different levels. So I break my fitness routine down into 3 main areas: strength, heart health, and nutrition. Now I believe anybody of any age should break it down into those 3 areas. I'm no expert, this is what I've read from the experts. If you want to be around for as long as possible, then those are the 3 areas to concentrate on. Loads of studies show it. It's not just a case of looking good and feeling strong, it's about delaying the onset of more chronic diseases. And the great thing is with these things, it doesn't matter what disease you have, what illness you have. In the main, most people can do something at their own level. Your starting point is your starting point. So first let's talk about strength. Now as we age, it's no surprise to know that your muscles shrink and there's no escaping it, you can't stop it, but you can slow the process down through weight training. Studies have shown that you can increase strength well into old age, providing you've got the right training approach. The key, of course, is just to work at your own pace. Now, I've had a garage gym for 27 years now. It doubles up as a place to store tools, a place to store a van, so it's not the kind of gym that you see behind me, unfortunately. As a professional gardener, I do my best to do a couple of strength workouts a week. It's not easy when I'm doing a manual job, especially at my age. But once the off-season comes, it's winter now, then I can increase those strength training workouts. For me, they're the ones that I love, always love them. I'm not saying I'm particularly good at it, but I still love those kind of exercise routines. So after this abdominal surgery, the main issue I struggled with was rebuilding my core, because as I mentioned earlier, my stump muscles have been sliced through several times and my back was giving me so much pain all through the gardening season. So I'm happy to say that now it's feeling much, much better, but it's definitely something that I'm still working on. And you can see from the various bits of video that I've shown you that I work all the main muscles of my body as much as I can, and I progressively add the weight or progressively increase the intensity. It might not be adding weight, it might be doing it more slowly, it might be increasing the repetitions or the sets, so long as you're tracking what you're doing and you're improving as the time goes on. One thing I have noticed at 55 is that I need a lot more rest than I used to do. I've tried working out 4, 5, 6 days a week and it's just no good for me. I just start to deplete myself, my iron levels drop. I need at least a day in between any kind of workout, whether it's a cardio workout and then a strength workout. Can't do them both together, got to have a gap in between. That might just be me, but I guess as you get older, more and more people will find that. Okay, so the second area is heart health, or sometimes known as cardio. Now, this has always been an area for me that I've neglected for most of my life. I've got bad memories of high school runs. They haunted me for years. But I later learned through an excellent book, if you're interested, it's called Outlive the Science of Longevity. It's by Peter Attia. Absolutely brilliant book. I can heartily recommend it. It is quite heavy going. It is quite specialist in areas, but you will get some absolute nuggets of information out of it. Now, I found a cardio activity that I actually enjoy. Definitely not running in my case. It's actually indoor cycling. Now, I love that because it's low impact and of course it doesn't involve dodging the 10-ton juggernauts coming at you from all directions. I've got a brilliant app where I can actually go to any place in the world that I like, and that keeps my mind off what I'm actually doing. Love that kind of thing. And I focus on trying to keep my heart rate at zone 2. So for me, that means I'm not at my absolute peak output. My heart is, for me, because it's different for everybody, for me it's somewhere between 120 and 150 beats per minute. I keep it like that. I can hold a conversation, but I prefer not to. That's the kind of out of breath that I'm at. I do then at the end, I do that for about 45 minutes, and at the end for like 10-15 minutes I try to push to my peak. At the moment, I'm doing that about 3 times a week. I certainly didn't start doing that 3 times a week following surgery. It was just a case of, could I manage 5 minutes on it? You know, it's very, very baby steps, and you go at your own pace. You do not try to push it, especially after surgery. Now, thanks to this approach, my cardio efficiency, sometimes measured as VO2 max, well exceeds the expectations for my age, which I'm absolutely chuffed about. Never had that before. So lastly, let's talk about nutrition and diet. Now, I'm aware that I'm probably a little bit on the over-nourished, I should stop doing that, it really annoys me, on the over-nourished side, or maybe a little bit skinny fat to be more accurate, but I try to prioritise healthy eating without the hassle of tracking every calorie. People will tell you that's the only way to do it, and I believe that probably is the only way to do it. I've tried it, it definitely works, but it's a massive hassle trying to weigh everything and track everything. And of course, if you're in part of a family, that makes it even more difficult because you're forcing it onto them as well. So I don't currently do that, but I do try to keep most of my meals on the healthy side, and I only kind of fall off the wagon a little bit at the weekend. But I do try to not have too many things, maybe 1 dessert, maybe 2 at a weekend. I really do need to do a little bit more in that area, probably like many people. So that's what I currently do. Let's talk about the reality of getting fit, okay? Now, I think this is probably the most important bit of information that I've learned over the years. I have actually followed this protocol and process several times now through the different surgeries and through the different illnesses. And anybody else who's tried to stay healthy will find this, that you begin somewhere and then you build up and build up and build up, and then life knocks you back down again. Sometimes it knocks you halfway, sometimes it knocks you right back to the start, and then you've got to start building up again. And that happens over and over and over again. It might be illness, it might be starting a new job, it might be having a child, it might be even a death in the family. There's always something there to derail you. What you've not got to do is think that you're going to be on this fitness journey and you just keep going up and up and up forever. It just doesn't happen for us genetically normal people. You always get knocked down at some point. That is part of the process. I'm just hoping that this time it lasts quite a number of years before I get knocked right back down to the start again, like I did this last 12 months. So I hope this serves as a starting point and a little bit of motivation for your own fitness journey. And of course, I'd be happy to dive into any more details about what I do if people ask me. I might even make more videos on it. I'm not expecting people in my subscriber set to be all that keen on it, but you never know, do you? So now it's over to you. I'd love to hear from you about your fitness journey and whether you're planning on getting healthier or you're planning on starting, especially seeing as we're coming up to the New Year resolution time. I actually did a recent poll on my YouTube community page. 25% of you claim to be absolute beasts in the gym. I'm not sure whether they were just being ironic there. Another 70% claimed that they didn't currently do anything for their health, but they really wanted to. Is that you? Is that what you actually voted for? What health conditions have you got, and do they affect it? Can you tell me that you can't do anything and that's that? Are you not interested? In which case, why are you watching this video? And I'm really keen to know whether this is something that other people struggle with. Yes, you can go and watch a real fitness influencer strutting their stuff in the gym. I'm not like that, but I do have real life experience, and I have been right to rock bottom, and I am fighting my way up again, and I've done it several times. Only a year ago, I was hobbling around a ward in a lot of pain, clutching a catheter and an IV stand. And now, well, I could probably enter the Mr. Olympia competition. We all start somewhere. If I can do it, anyone can. If you enjoyed this video and you're into personal growth and would like to see 5 pieces of tech that genuinely changed my life, then this video up here is the one to watch. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.